Hey everybody, thanks for coming to watch. So I've got you guys another update on Hurricane Hilary. So there have been some changes in the forecast for Hurricane Hilary, but it is still expected to slam Southern California and the Southwest, bringing gusty winds and flooding rainfall. And the flooding is going to be one major thing we're going to have to talk about, as the flooding could be catastrophic, okay? We already have a high risk of flash flooding out for southern parts of Southern California, according to the Weather Prediction Center. So that means that there is already a 70% chance of seeing flash flooding within 25 miles of a point inside that purple zone. So we'll talk about that later. But for now, I just want to give you guys the absolute latest details as the storm continues to bear down on the California Baja Peninsula and the California mainland. So you can see here we're looking at the satellite loop of Hilary, and you can see Hilary looks a lot different than it used to. It is now a Category 2 hurricane as it moves a little bit closer to that western coastline. But you can see that the eye of it, in the beginning of the satellite loop starting out this afternoon, you had that eye right there, and then it finally, you can see it's starting to kind of swell up. So that tells you that Hilary is definitely trying to get away from the coastline, and it's falling apart a little bit. But you still have circulating bands of rainfall and moisture around it, and you still have got obviously that eye. But then you see it start to kind of just get tossed around a little bit. So Hilary, for a good sign though, is that Hilary is definitely weakening. So the winds shouldn't be too bad. They will be pretty strong. I'll tell you guys, there will be some wind gusts that could potentially get over 60 miles an hour. That's definitely possible. It's likely as well. But I do think that flooding is definitely going to be by far the main threat of the storm. So we're going to be moving on to the latest info on our flash flood risk. So this is our current map right now. This is just for the storm. You have the 1 to 3 excessive rainfall outlook here. You're up to this pink here, which is a high at least 70% chance of seeing flash flooding within 25 miles of a point, and it's for a massive area. This is just San Diego is just outside of this 70% risk. So if any of you are near just anywhere east of Los Angeles, east of San Diego, maybe even as far east as far north as Bakersfield, you've got to be ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow you're definitely going to get multiple inches of rain that could definitely lead to flash flooding in creeks, rivers, streams. Mudslides are possible, and mudslides are actually likely. But yeah, I mean, in those areas that are really dry right now, that's where you're probably going to have the most flooding out there. But we look at the moderate chance, the moderate risk. This is at least 40% risk. This is in our red zone here. This does include Las Vegas. This goes a little bit farther into parts of southern Nevada. This includes Tonopah. This includes Las Vegas. Includes Bakersfield, Los Angeles, and San Diego in California, okay? So we do have most of our major cities in this moderate risk. Now we go to the slight risk, where you're probably going to see an inch or two of rain, maybe a little bit more. You might see some flooding. It's definitely possible, but it's unlikely. So that's for a huge area up here. This is pretty much for that entire area that the storm's going to be covering. This stretches all the way into parts of western Arizona. You can see Yuma, Arizona right in there. Phoenix is just outside of that slight risk, but this goes up into parts of southwest Utah, parts of northern and east and western Nevada, so pretty much just the outside areas of that moderate risk. This includes Eli or Eli, I don't know how to pronounce that, Winnemucca and Reno, all in Nevada. So yeah, it's like I said earlier. In the high and moderate risk areas are where I'm really most concerned about for flash flooding. But I think you're probably just gonna get an inch or two of rain if you're anywhere in the slight risk or the marginal risk. But this includes Fresno and pretty much Bakersfield in that slight risk in California. Okay, and then for the outside areas, you have that marginal risk, and that includes some other cities. And then also Fresno is also in that slight risk. If you're near Fresno in California, you guys are also in that slight risk. So it's going to be it for your flash flooding, okay? Like I said, one more time, I'm going to say it. Flash flooding is definitely going to be the main concern of the day, and we are going to see tons and tons amount of rainfall that it's not going to be good, okay? So make sure that you are, just ready as best you can be as the storm moves in, because it's going to start raining really, really hard, really, really fast, and then it's going to all mount up and mount up to the point where you have literal rivers as roads. So we go to the wind gusts right now. These are actually the wind speeds, excuse me. This is in knots, so knots is a little bit lower than miles per hour. So if you see like 40 knots, that's probably around 45, 50 miles per hour, okay? So I'll help you guys kind of switch that around. But let's get started here. So we see the storm coming in. It's creeping up the coastline, 978 millibars. That is still considered a very strong hurricane. It's got an eye for sure right here. It's still hanging on to that eye look on itself. This is actually pretty much just what it's going to be looking like in just a few hours. So, well, actually, I would say, I don't know, 8 a.m. August 20th, so 8 a.m. tomorrow. You're waking up tomorrow, and you're starting to see this thing really start creeping up there, coming into the southwest. And so this time actually here, you see here, is set on Eastern time, just so you know. So when it's 2 p.m. Eastern time, it's like 11, 12 a.m., it's like 11 a.m., 11:30, around that time in Western time. So we see this continue moving up the coast, and we finally get into 8 p.m., which would be around 5 p.m. for you guys out in California. But you're really starting to see those the stronger wind gusts move their way into the mainland of the Southwest. But notice how the eastern side is really going to be the most intense side for wind gusts. So we see all this red and orange and yellow. All that you see there, those are winds, sustained winds that could be anywhere from 40 to 50, maybe even up to 60 miles an hour. And so that could quite possibly be for areas in southwest Arizona and extreme southeastern California. But if you're near any of these areas with red showing up here or orange showing up here, you could definitely see a wind gust that could get over 50 miles an hour. That's definitely possible. But I would say just around 5 p.m. Tomorrow. So, you're getting into dinner time tomorrow, and all of a sudden you're really starting to hear just those intense gusts of wind. But this will be mostly a during day storm, so it's probably going to be about mid evening when the storm's at its peak. We get into 2 a.m. This is the middle of the night. It's really not. It's losing steam. It's definitely not organized at all. There is some slight rotation with it left over, 1,000 millibars. But there is going to be another ramp up of wind gusts, and this could actually be where we start seeing power outages and a lot of wind damage reports. Because you can see out here in southern Nevada, this red and almost this like dark red here. Those are wind gusts that are definitely going to be at least 55 miles an hour. I think really somewhere, maybe even near Las Vegas, you could get a wind gust that could get over 60 miles an hour. So it's the wind gust. I'm telling you guys, when it's like 11 p.m. tomorrow night, you are going, and some of you, if you're in southern Nevada, you are going to get some very, very strong wind gusts, but potentially up to 65 miles an hour. So you got to be on the alert for that. There are also, if you take notice here, there are also going to be some strong wind gusts off the coast. So if you're along the coastline of California, maybe some large swells in those waves, and then also some breezy conditions out there. But this finally just starts to move out. You're still seeing winds and wind gusts getting a little bit they're up there. They're getting they're nearing 40 miles an hour still, but they're really not holding on to that real strength out there. But then this storm finally pretty much ends, and that's going to be pretty much it. So it's going to be it for your wind gusts, okay? Now I'm going to take a look here at Zoom Earth. Zoom Earth is a very, very great site. It's basically the National Hurricane Center and Google Maps combined. And you have a very, very good, this is a very, very good tropical tracker here. It gives you a bunch of information on every single tropical cyclone in both the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. So if you want to track some storms at home or whatever, you can just go right onto the site. It's free. It's out to the public. Just go to zoom.earth, and you have an amazing site here that you can use. I love using it too, but we're going to use it today. So we'll look at where we are now with the storm. Here it is right here. It's actually looking pretty good at the current satellite. This is what it's looking like right this second. So we'll click on this point here. This is where its eye is. You've got a Category 2 hurricane at the moment. Its winds are at around 110 miles an hour. So it is still a 958 millibar low pressure storm system, and it's still got winds over 100 miles an hour. So this is still considered a dangerous hurricane out here. And you can see that along the Southern California Baja Peninsula, you do have tropical storm warnings. So for those areas that are getting kind of edged out by the storm, you have tropical storm warnings, meaning that you still will have tropical storm strength wind gusts all across this area, even as far south as Cabo San Lucas, as you guys probably are going to be done with the storm, although there will be some leftover showers and thunderstorms, okay? But this will go even as far west as parts of now the western coast of Africa. Now you do have you don't really have any major cities on this line here, but you do have a tropical storm watch out for this area near Ciudad Obregon. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, just pretty much anywhere around this area, you do have still some chances of seeing tropical storm force winds and conditions out there, okay? But that tropical storm warning, that goes all the way up this entire eastern coastline here of the peninsula. It does not include these islands out here, which is kind of weird to see, because they're right in the middle. They're in between these two areas of land. So I actually do think though that these islands are under tropical storm warning, but according to this map, they are not. So that's obviously out there as of now. And then we look at some areas farther north, a little bit closer to the California mainland. You have San Felipe and Rocky Point all under that tropical storm warning. So if you know any family members or anybody that lives out in this region, you gotta make sure that they know what's going on, because it's happening right now. This is about, if it's not happening already, this is literally about to slam these areas in the Southern California Baja Peninsula, okay? And yeah, just so you know that if you didn't know already, I'm sure you guys did, but just making sure, this is actually part of Mexico. The real portion of Southern California is out here. This is California out here, but I'm sure you guys all know that. I'm just talking about this peninsula out here as of now. Okay, then we go to the red. The red is where things get a little interesting. We get a hurricane warning. That means that there is a strong hurricane that is going to hit that area that's under that hurricane warning. So this does include Guerrero Negro, and it does include Lazaro Cardenas. So I don't know anybody who lives near these areas, but if you do, then make sure that they know what's about to happen, because this hasn't quite made it to you guys yet. It's probably starting to rain. It's probably starting to get a little breezy out there, but things are gonna take shape and get to action very, very fast. Okay, so for those alerts, that's going to be pretty much it, although there are two other alerts I want to talk about here. This is a hurricane watch in that pinkish, tannish color. This goes up the northern western coastline of the peninsula, and then inside that area there is that blue, which is also that tropical storm warning. Okay, so we'll go up to the next point of the storm. This is going to weaken a lot very, very quickly. This goes all the way down to a Category 1 hurricane before hitting these areas under the hurricane warning. Still a 90-mile-an-hour hurricane, so it's still got some very, very strong winds, but it's definitely going to weaken a lot as it moves a little bit closer to the United States, okay? This goes up through the coastline, does its thing, and then it finally gets down back to tropical storm strength. It's a high-end tropical storm with winds up to 70 miles an hour. This is the forecast for right now. This is pretty much out a little bit less than 24 hours. We get to tomorrow at 2 p.m. This would be, I don't know if this is Western time. I'm not sure. But anywhere around the morning or afternoon hours of tomorrow is where we're at this point. But you have 70 miles an hour, wind gusts at 70 miles an hour. This is directly over Santa Fe, Lazaro, Cardenas, Punta Colonet, and San Vicente. All of you guys are going to be right in the middle of that central eye wall. If it's still there, it probably will actually kind of diminish as we get into the overnight hours of tonight. But if it's still there, the forecasted eye wall will move through your area. Okay. And then this goes into California. This green line here just shows where it's going to be a tropical storm, and then finally gets into Central California, and it is pretty much done after that. It is a low pressure area, so at this point, this would be the middle of the night Monday. It's finally just it's leftover parts of a post-tropical cyclone. That's what it's going to be. But yeah, we go into California. This tropical storm warning does include some cities in Western California, including San Diego. You guys are going to be in that tropical storm warning. This does include the Los Angeles area, not quite you guys exactly, but this does include Long Beach, San Clemente, Oceanside, pretty much. This island out here. This would be Avalon, and then Torrance, Santa Monica, Malibu, and areas just south of Oxnard and Camarillo. All of you guys are going to be under that tropical storm warning as for now, okay? So that's going to be it for the update. That was a pretty long one for you guys. I just want to give you guys the latest details on this massive hurricane, and I just want to make sure all of you guys are staying safe out there and making sure that you guys are going to be ready for whatever's going to be happening. But we will see some very, very strong winds move across the Baja Peninsula, and then eventually into California, state of California. But we will definitely have some very, very intense flash flooding that could potentially reach catastrophic limits. So we got to continue tracking this. This is going to be a very dangerous and deadly system. But I just want to make sure you guys are ready for whatever's going to be happening as the system moves into California. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there and have a great night.